I have talked about a certain white-haired fox on this channel at least a couple of times, and she is in hot water again because, well, she likes to do and say controversial stuff. She's getting into hot water and even had an article written about her in Vice. Now, I did reach out to the article writer, and she gave me the go ahead to go over it on stream. So, let's go over it. It's titled, Why is this Gamersupps VTuber pushing the Great Replacement Theory? Now, I have a good feeling that the majority of people in my audience, in my community, already have an idea of what the Great Replacement Theory is. But for those who don't know, I will give a little, yes, I mean Kirsche. I will give a little, I don't know, summary. Basically, what they say is like the elites are shipping in minorities to replace white people, and like they're super worried about that, and it's not actually happening. They just don't like seeing brown people enter the country. Anyways, let's get into this article. And what an image. You gotta get that titty cupping in there too, huh? Fucking. Kirsch's hole in her head is bigger than Trump's. Okay, so Gamersupps is pretty much ubiquitous in VTubing, owned by the popular anime or online content creator Jay Schlatt. Gamersupps advertises itself as, quote, the most effective and healthy energy choice, end quote. The gamers and esports talent, or for gamers and esports talents alike, combine caffeine with nootropics? I don't fucking know. Then slap on branding marketing marketed towards geeks and gamers, and you've got Gamersupps. It's a rite of passage for a growing VTuber to gain a Gamersupps partnership, let alone snag a merchandise run via the company's waifu cup lines. Nyanners has her own cup, as well as like Shy Lily. There's quite a few that have their own cups, actually. However, Gamersupps is in hot water with many VTuber fans due to the behavior of one particular creator working with the company Mythic Talents Kirsche Verstal. I don't actually know how to pronounce her last name, so I'm not intentionally trying to. An anime fox girl with a knack for sharing alt-right talking points, like the Great Replacement Theory. Kirsche has landed herself in controversy after controversy online due to her right wing beliefs. At this point, it begs the question whether Gamersupps will one day pull the plug on the VTuber for good. So, yeah. Even with all the backlash that Gamersupps has been getting lately, I kind of get the feeling that they're not going to drop Kirsche, and that's actually pretty disappointing. It's really making me consider things. What was it? And what really bugs me is this tweet from Kirsche. Many seething V tweeters in my quote retweets once again campaigning Gamersupps. And like we're going to go back over that tweet a bit more. But once again, so people have gone to Gamersupps and been like, hey, you're promoting a far right person, just so you know. And they did nothing about it. I thought you pronounced her first name with an E, Kirsche. I genuinely don't know. I've heard both. And I've just always pronounced it Kirsche. Nobody's actually corrected me because I don't think her fans actually watch me, which good. Oh yeah, that was funny. We'll talk about that later. A VTuber who believes quote demographic replacement end quote is happening to white people. Like, come on, man. Kirsche is relatively popular with over 56,000 followers on Twitter, at least 44,000 on Twitch. She originally announced her partnerships with Gamersupps in September 2023, followed by a merchandise reveal this past March. I want to check this real quick. Oh, yeah, okay. So, like, currently, these are. I don't think you can do the pre sale anymore, but her merch line is still on the way, which is. Yeah, before all this dropped, I was thinking, like, hey, maybe I do want to get eventually a Gamersupps sponsorship. And now I'm like, no, don't put my brand anywhere near that. Like, there's a lot of cool VTubers that have Gamersupps stuff, and it's you know, I don't want to hate them because they're probably in contracts, but I at this point we kind of gotta wait and see. When I first heard her voice, I got worried because someone I follow has a similar voice. Luckily, she wasn't the same person. Oh, okay, that's good. Yeah, I've heard about 4 people have dropped sponsorships already. I should have kept a list of them. Okay, let's see. Uh, while some VTubers wink and nod to conservative beliefs, Kirsch is like flying straight into it. Here's some fun stuff. In February, she said trans women advocating for trans rights are autogynephilic males with graphic murder fantasies. And I don't really have any murder fantasies. Though, from what I recall checking this out, yeah, she used the qualifier most trans activists. So, like, mm, still, it it's that general. These people love their generalization. Republicans, right wingers, they do that. They just assume one bad thing, or they find out one bad thing from one person of a group they don't, or they already have biases against, and then they just ascribe that one bad thing to the entire group. It's very intelligent stuff, you know? She praised Mythic Talender's co-owner Asmongold for arguing every trans kid is actually a victim of a parent with a mental illness. Well, I would disagree. It's like just from my own personal life experience, because I was a trans kid, but I didn't transition till 27. I was actually pushed into repression. And yeah, my life would have been so much happier if at 14 I was told, hey, you can live as other genders. You don't have to get your titties cut off to fit into the male gender. Because for those of you who don't know, in first puberty, when I was like turning 13 ish, I was born with a penis. Everybody should be aware of that one. I'm keeping it, it's fun. But in first puberty, I grew breasts. I was like a B or C cup, I think. Or I was growing past the point of B towards C. Oh, I got mocked for that one a lot. But like, if I could have just if I just had been known, hey, you can just, puberty blockers, try things out, see where it goes. If you want to be a dude, be a dude. You want to be a chick, be a chick. But no, these people consider that assault. They consider it to be like grooming kids when it's not. It's just letting kids be happy, letting kids be themselves. But they refuse to acknowledge any of that. Like, despite all of the medical documentation, they just ignore it. Based Fox. Another post on YouTube drama. Our YouTube/YouTube drama declared Kirsche the main culprit for alt-right pandering in VTubing. No, I don't think Kirsche is the main culprit for alt-right pandering. I think she panders to the alt-right more than most people, but there's a bigger person. There's at least two bigger people that still kind of pander to the alt-right. There's Rev and Smugglana. In conversations with the Gamersupps merchandise drop, VTuber fans were quick to describe Kirsche's right wing. Like, there's no, like, how can you call her a fucking centrist when she's retweeted the artist that drew this and, like, praised them for it? If you think this is centrism, I think you need help. I want to say a lot more stuff, but I don't want to get banned on YouTube because the things I actually think and want to say about Nazis would get me banned on here because YouTube is a centrist platform. And by that, they just mean downplaying or by centrist, I mean they just downplay the actions of the right wing and over-exaggerate the actions of the left wing to say, oh, they're both the same, when they're not. They're absolutely not. And if you are, in my opinion, if you're playing centrist to any of this shit, like, oh, there's backdoors on both sides, you're just running apologia for these Nazis. That's, as far as I'm concerned, that's what's happening. But thankfully, this article writer is pretty awesome. Okay, she's alt-right, she's anti-woke, and apparently transphobic to a degree. Apparently. Few comments mentioned her calling trans women being mentally ill men. None of this is my own info, just restating what people said. Can't confirm or deny this stuff. Wasn't there a link for it? Yeah. Yeah, right here. Anyway, whatever. Okay, let's see. There's her merch drop stuff. Screenshot from Gamersupps. Alt-right seems like an accurate description of Kirsche and her politics. Yeah. Here's a clip from Bint. We're going to go over it. Which is Kirsche is now stating her belief in white supremacist great replacement theory. Is it going to load?
They're building like a 2.5 million pound mosque somewhere in like northern England that doesn't even have like a large Muslim population. And I was like, of course they are. Yeah, of course they are. I get increasingly angry when I see people who are just like, well, they're not doing anything illegal, so like you can't really be mad at them. It's like this is very clearly a hostile takeover. Like, we're experiencing it in the US via illegal immigration. They're experiencing it in the UK via, like, the migrant crisis nonsense and refugees, which, potato, basically the same fucking thing. And it's like, our politicians are assisting these people with both demographic replacement as well as just making citizens' lives worse in general. They're changing the entire culture of these countries. It might not be a hostile takeover like you see in war. There's no guns and battleships and bombs, but it is still a hostile takeover. It is still going to change these countries irreparably in the future. UK, it's almost all of Europe. Well, I'm specifically speaking of the UK because of the mosque thing. We're noticing. And it's like, I made a tweet. I made a tweet talking about,
Okay, yeah, then the clip just cuts off there. But yeah, she's angry that brown people are coming into the country, being allowed to build buildings for their religious freedoms, and it upsets her that she can't just have people removed without, anything actually happening. She just sees more brown people showing up and is calling it a hostile takeover. And it's like irreparably changing these countries. And it's like, girl, America was founded on immigration. People immigrated from England and then did the hostile takeover to the Native Americans. And now you're complaining that brown people are doing hostile takeovers by legally coming into the country and wanting to, share their faith, their culture, that kind of thing. I don't know exactly everything about like America as a melting pot, so to speak. I know Canada is a pretty great melting pot. Like I am definitely within the color minority of my neighborhood. It is mostly people from South Asia, like India, Afghanistan, Pakistan, that kind of geographic area. There's a there's actually a lot of different um what's it? The best thing that I like about all this diversity, holy shit, you don't run out of options for food. In like if I go for a 10 or 20-minute walk from my house, I can have at least 5 or 6 different ethnic foods available. It's not just burger. But I don't know. Yeah, I definitely think America is strong because of immigrants. There's a lot of immigrant workers. There's like they bitch and moan that these immigrants are coming in to live off the tax money, and no, they're not. They don't get that tax money, and in fact, they contribute to taxes from the shit they buy, even if they don't do like income tax shit. Because they legally can't because you're not letting them be citizens. And if they were citizens, they would be taxed normally. But these types of people don't like seeing brown people as citizens of their country. They want their ethno states. And that is just fucked up. It leads to a weaker society, in my opinion, for ethno states. Yeah, that's just a quote of what we listened to. And there's the tweet. I forgot that got linked. This is not a one-off comment. In April, she retweeted the White House's ICE tip line to aid the deportation of undocumented Americans. And if you don't know, ICE is not just deporting undocumented Americans. They're deporting Americans. Like, born in America. I forget the dude's name. I really wish I didn't. But, literal dude. Born in America. Lived his entire life in the States. Was still sent to El Salvador. Oh my god. Yeah, like, not just one or two. They're deporting a lot of people. And, like, the shit that Doge is doing, too, without even being created through the proper channels. These people just hate minorities. Like, they wanted to release, or they wanted to search out and publicize all the DEI bullshit, and they exposed, like, FBI black sites because they were searching for DEI by searching for the word black. These people are not intelligent. They are cruel, and they just keep going. I remember a kid almost got deported twice by ICE. Yeah, like, I've heard of kids being pulled out of schools. I've heard of them going after, they've been going after, what's it? Like, there was at least one person in court talking to the judge, like, as a defendant or whatever, and I still try to bust in and fucking, deport him. It's like, who the fuck are these people? Hey, Kudere fanboy. We are talking about Gamersupps. You did miss the, my friend come on stream, do a tell-all, and then I did already talk about Gura, so FYI there. I did some volunteer work recently, warning a local Latin American community about ICE. Good, good. Yeah, the word needs to get out. These people are just awful. The best thing I've seen that people have done to bar ICE from stuff is just like stand in front of doors of people that ICE is trying to go after, and they're like white American citizens, and they're not, ICE isn't touching them. So at least there's that. Yeah, sorry about that, Kudere. Let's see. In February 2025, she said she was happy with mass deportations under Trump, but warned the federal government was offering undocumented Americans, quote, massive amounts of free shit on taxpayer dime. She even called Lawrence, Massachusetts, a no-go zone full of illegal activity, and implied the city could only be recovered if all its undocumented citizens were removed. Curious. Yeah. Like they have one 50-second video from some Duncan Burns, politically homeless. Oh, okay, so this pronoun salty slash fuck. Okay, yeah, this guy's a yeah, this guy is just playing defense for the right wing, trying to claim he's center. Wait, so they don't even have videos of the illegal activity. They just have videos of ICE grabbing people. Man, that's fucked up. Okay, she also tweeted retweeted the White House and their ICE tip line. If any, seriously, how can people think she's center without how can they how can anyone genuinely think Kirsche is center and or even not far right? Yeah, I'm wishing the best for Gura too. I do not know anything about Carmelo Anthony, and I'm not about to dive straight into it. But given a lot of what I've seen of Kirsch, she lies a lot. Post incorrectly claimed that Anthony's family had purchased a house with online donations, which rumor which spread through right-wing social media circles before later being debunked by Snopes. Kirsch fed into the claim, and I am willing to bet she never even deleted her tweet. Well, thank you, Snopes. Here's her tweet: getting a payday to buy a house by killing a white man just makes sense. Reparations for all. Like they don't care about the actual truth. They care about their narratives. Oh yeah, we're gonna go into the who wore it better bit, and that's kind of confusing. Or at least there, I'll get to the confusing part. Basically, we'll just go straight to the quote tweet. Who wore it better? Body cam edition. I believe this photo was taken moments before the woman was shot. And this was, I can't tell if it was as the guy was getting tased or right before. But basically, she is. Wait, why isn't he muted too? I just don't want to see him. Basically, she's quote tweeting Matt Walsh, who historically hates black people and like any person of color or any sort of minority. Literally in his bio, theocratic fascist. He is loud and proud about being that. But like, I mean, we're going to see. Where was it? Yeah, right here. And somehow calling Matt Walsh a white supremacist, Lamau. If you don't think a theocratic fascist The kind of person that wants their religious views pushed on you is, you don't think he's a white supremacist? While you're literally decrying any sort of minority activism. It's, as I've said it so many times, the cruelty is the point with these people. Both in both incidents, body cam video depicts law enforcement acting in self-defense. However, the implication of Kirsche's response is that Black Americans are lying about the commonality of police brutality in the U.S. The Sentencing Project notes that Black Americans, quote, were 2.5 times as likely to be shot and killed by police officers as whites, per data from 2015 to 2021. Like, this is the whole point of the BLM movement. Why the protests got so big after George Floyd was murdered by a Chauvin. And like, they're saying here, Matt Walsh is saying cameras killed the BLM movement. I'm very curious. Was Derek Chauvin's body cam ever released? Why don't people ever talk about that much? Or why do right wingers not talk about that? Curious, isn't it? They just want to. No, Matt Walsh is not an alt writer. He is a far writer. He is alt is like using cool things, like likable aesthetics kind of thing, appealing to the younger crowd. Matt Walsh, he's just a fascist. That's all it is to him. That's not alt right. That is pure far right. And like, these guys also downplay Nazism. Don't look into it too much, right? This rate, police will kill an estimated 1,000 black men, the organization wrote. Continuing the quote, police officers' greater inclination to stop and search people of color suggests that difference in people's behavior alone are unlikely to account for disparities in lethal police violence. Oh, it keeps going. Okay, so like, as Kirsche keeps doing her thing, and then it just keeps building and building and building. And like, before before the article we're going over had dropped, like, she was already getting in hot water, people trying to go after her. Yeah, because this was like a few days before the article dropped. I think it was 21st. Just confirming. Yeah, on the 21st. So like 3 days, or she had been targeted, I guess, for a while now. Okay, here we are. But yeah, it had been going on, saying many seething V tweeters has one. Like, just shows one account. And like, downplaying Matt Walsh being a white supremacist. And like, if being a theocratic fascist, like a loud and proud one, isn't enough for you to think somebody's a white supremacist, well, thank you, Lance from the Surfs, for sharing the picture. I do wish there was a video, but I don't know when this happened, but it was a while ago. Matt Walsh filmed himself judging a diaper wrestling match between adult men, one of which has a swastika tattoo. Now, I believe it was this dude. The screenshots are hard to see, but I think it was like around this part of his shoulder. But yeah. And then, like, he judges adult diaper wrestling matches, which, I mean, in a vacuum, you do what you want, you're an adult. But then to call trans people predators and groomers, and then sell fucking this to your audience? This is why I say every conservative accusation is a confession. The highlighted section of this store page where it's just Matt Walsh's adult fucking head full with beard on a baby's body for kids to play with. Now, I believe by now this has been removed because the left kept dunking on him like insanely, and it was very much deserved and funny, but it's now removed. So, at least there's that. Okay, we continue. Right, it's going on to Kaio, one of Gamersupps' partners, had dropped it. I don't actually know how big Kaio is, but like, decided to end my partnership with Gamersupps because of certain creators affiliated with the brand who have expressed openly bigoted views without facing any consequences. I believe in fostering an inclusive community, and I do not wish to support or be associated with companies that enable harmful behavior. This is not the company that I want my community to spend money on. Pretty goddamn based. I can respect that opinion. But there's a lot of Kirsche fans and just right-wingers in general who I'm going to pause for a second. Kaio is like mid-sized? Yeah, I thought so. Like, he's not super big, but he does have influence. I just need to pull up some quote tweets, but you never know what they are going to. Where the fuck are the quote tweets? How do you browse those again? Wait, it was view post engagements. God, I hate Twitter. Yeah, okay, right here. Cool. I don't have to really do anything. Boom. These guys are responding with like this you kind of shit because Kaio had tweeted can't be racist towards white people, but of course someone like you wouldn't know that. Okay. Let me start with saying these people only care about racism or racism accusations when it's about white people. Aside from that, they don't care. And now I will say you can be racist towards white people, but the people pushing back against Kaio are not emotionally capable of actually having that conversation. They're not mentally capable of having that conversation either. And even though I think I disagree with Kaio in this shared screen, I'm still on Kaio's side regarding Gamersupps. Like, it's just no surprise. As we go further down the article, you will really see that there's no denying that Kirsche is just boosting Nazis. Okay, yeah, we went over that. Remains unclear whether Gamersupps will issue a response on Kirsche's behavior, which, yeah, I mean, they're just kind of... Okay, here we're getting to the real Nazi shit. But yeah, this is not the first time people have gone to Gamersupps and being like, hey, you're promoting a person who explicitly pushes hate. Can you guys not give them money? As well as there was the author of the article, Anna, had put out a tweet or a skeet. Haven't heard back from any of the Gamersupps, although I've seen a couple folks sharing correspondence with staff refunds. Any cases you see in the wild, feel free to reply with links/screenshots. And no people were sharing it. But still, this was over a day after the article dropped. And at this point, I still haven't seen anything. And we are pushing, what, a week? Yeah, almost a week. Okay, if you guys haven't gotten a good look at the books on the screen, my bad. Fun fact that Grixt guy at the top unironically believes the Sandy Hook shooting was fake. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Wait, post got community? I don't know. I forget what post you were talking about. Anyways, let's move on. Let's see. Yeah, she this could be the case after right-wing VTuber retweeted a Kirsche fan named Sencho Mimikyu. Because oh yeah, I didn't realize that was just their profile. Good. Thankfully nothing showed up. I thought it was going to be the tweet she shared. But no, this is the tweet. Someone recently received Sencho recently received an official Kirsch YouTube's plushie and posed with it. In one of the images shared by Kirsch, Sencho poses the plushie next to an enormous collection of Nazi and fascist books. And anybody that's saying the fucking, I'm gonna go to this one. Oh, okay, yeah, just pull up the full screen one on. Okay, anybody saying that these are not far right? Like Anna in the article does talk a lot about it, but just here, voice of triumph, Hitler's speeches at Nuremberg, faith and heritage. Like seriously, how do these people? It's like they're deliberately being ignorant. Honestly, what I'm most surprised about with this screenshot, Mein Kampf isn't in there. You would assume that Mein Kampf would be in there. Count unmuted. Is this Kirsche? Yes. I like your sleeve / glove / boots. Okay. Not going to look too hard at these. I guess you don't want to get reading suggestions, Kirsche. But yeah, that is Pipkin Pippa on the left, or her plushie, and then Kirsche's plushie on the right. And if you don't know who Pipkin Pippa is, well, she's a rabbit that likes to make a suspicious amount of Jew jokes. Moving on. While Kirsche is a political VTuber, it remains unclear if the content creator was aware of the Nazi imagery seen on the bookshelf. I'm sorry about that. Got some phlegm. I'm going to believe that she doesn't care. That's what I choose to believe. Several VTubers jumped into a lively Twitter debate whether Kirsche had the knowledge to recognize fascist imagery at all. Oh my god. Just go over some of the book titles. They've got Hitler on the spine. It's like, oh my god. But no, either way, it's probably likely that Kirsche is aware of what those are on, and she doesn't care. Perhaps it's irrelevant whether Kirsche knew about the political imagery behind the post. Blah blah blah. This is not Kirsche's first controversy, and likely won't be her last. Which begs the question: is there a line Kirsche and other content creators can cross before the partnership is threatened with a company? Vice has reached out to Gamersupps, Kirsche, and Kaio for comment, but no response. And then that's the end of it. Okay, I thought there was going to go into some other stuff. But yeah, that was the article that got a lot of people's attention. Why did I vote for this? I don't know. Why did you vote for this? Pretty much, yeah, this article drops, and a lot more people started paying attention. Like I know Kaio was like the first one that publicly announced they're leaving Gamersupps, or at least I think so. I know Joe Cat was trying to do like a uh well, was asked, "Hey, are you still sticking with Gamersupps?" And then he was like, "Yeah, I actually removed my stuff a while ago, and I am in the process of removing the rest of the branding." And then that just blew the fuck up because it's Joe Cat and he's awesome and people love him. And he actually did not expect that to be like a big public statement kind of thing. So glad people are finally calling her out. Yeah, like I did a while ago. Didn't really get much traction. I had a bunch of her fans, I think, pop in the chat and be like, "You're dumb." Because, like, they got the best retorts. But yeah, I'm glad more and more people are, recognizing, hey, these guys push Nazi shit. And you start letting in a little bit of Nazi stuff, it gets worse and worse and worse. Okay, what else? What else can I move on to? Right, Anna, thank you for letting me go over that article. Thank you for writing the article. Keep up the good, work. But yeah, as before the article even dropped, as Kirsche was in her hot water, how does she respond? I mean, I would be surprised if you didn't expect her to just plug her merch, which is this is all it really is. She's just plugging her merch. She doesn't care what people think. She's a Nazi. Oh, I wanted to make another post. Thank you. Handy, handy, handy. And like honestly, it's kind of frustrating that Gamersupps is remaining quiet about it. Like I can't expect every single co-owner to make a public statement about it. It's a fucking company. However, given some of the people I know I don't actually know them, but like okay, I will use one specific example. This this whole thing has really made me hesitant to call Shy Lily my Kamiyoshi. She's fucking funny as hell. I really like watching her videos. She's great, but she's a co-owner of Gamersupps. And I don't know how comfortable I am saying that my Kamiyoshi is a co-owner of a brand that is happily slapping their title onto somebody pushing great replacement theory, Nazi talking points. It's ugh. I don't know, man. It's really hard to listen to Miss RGB these days. It's a good song. It's just yeah, how many co-owners does Gamersupps have? I actually don't know. But I know it has a handful. And like another VTuber that I actually really like, Cottontail. She's got Gamersupps, and I'm like, I don't expect her or any of the other VTubers to immediately drop their Gamersupps. I assume there is a contract going on. It is a company. But like I would hope once the contract runs up, they just don't renew it. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. I can't force anybody to take the actions I want them to take. I can just hope. Because you should not be letting Nazis in at all. They're like roaches. Or no, they're like ants. You let one in and you're like whatever, it's not a big deal. And then more come in. Because the first one went back and said, "Hey, this place is cool for ants." And the next thing you know, it's just swarming with it. But here is a little story shared by an Emmy on Blue Sky. Their at is Mealjin. I don't think they're the original author of this, but it's the Nazi bar situation. Yes, literally. Okay. So I don't think this is Emmy's story, but thank you for sharing it over the announcement or the skeet. I I'm guessing this at I am Rage Sparkle is the author, and I do not know anybody's pronouns in this thing, but I'm gonna do my best. I guess the bartender's a dude. Anyways, let me sippy. I was at a shitty crust punk bar once getting an after work beer. One of those shitholes where the bartenders clearly hate you. So the bartender I were ignoring one another when someone sits next to me and he immediately says, "No, get out." The dude next to me says, "Hey, I'm not doing anything. I'm a paying customer." And the bartender reaches under the counter for a bat of something and says, "Out now." And the dude leaves, kind of yelling. He was dressed in a punk uniform, I noticed. Anyway, I asked that what that was all about, and the bartender was you didn't see his vest, but it was all Nazi shit. Iron crosses and stuff. You get to recognize them. And I was like, "Oh, okay." And he continues, "You have to nip it in the butt immediately. These guys come in and it's always a nice, polite one. And you serve them because you don't want to cause a scene. And then they become a regular, and after a while they bring a friend. And that dude is cool too. And then they bring friends, and the friends bring friends, and they stop being cool. And then you realize, oh shit, this is a Nazi bar now. And it's too late because they're entrenched, and if you try to kick them out, they cause a problem. So you have to shut them down." And I was like, "Oh, damn." And he said, "Yeah, you have to ignore their reasonable arguments because their end goal is to be terrible, awful people." Then he went back to ignoring me, but I haven't forgotten that at all. Yeah, you just you can't you can't let them in because they start off talking like they're all reasonable and just a scholar or whatever, just curious about the world. But you just let them keep doing their shit. There's there's going to be cross burnings, there's going to be lynchings, there's going to be a lot of hate crimes because at the end of the day, Nazi ideology is built on hate. It's built on hating the minorities. You you left the Nazis in Germany alone long enough, the Holocaust happened. You leave them alone long enough in America, and they get a second presidency. It's it's very disappointing that there's not enough people actually speaking up about this. Like it's unironically more frustrating for me that people are more willing to talk about Cinder and that whole situation, which by the way I'm not going into, instead of talking about, the rising Nazi problem. Oh my god. Yeah, they operate off of fear. Absolutely. It's all about fear mongering the minorities, demonizing them, and just using that to control the masses with false information. all that fun stuff. And it even gets to the point where they are anti-intellectual. They do not want sources for things because if you see it, it's true. These people, like, there's a reason we have academia. There's a reason we have scholars. There's a reason we keep records of all this, which Nazis like to burn, by the way, because they don't want the truth. They want their worldview to be believed 100%. That's all it is. Just don't listen to their lies. Genuinely keep thinking critically. That's the most important thing. Because if you keep critically thinking, you question whether everything you are hearing is true. Even for me, fact check me too. I want to know when I'm wrong. I want you guys to tell me if I'm wrong. Please do. These types will just ignore reality. They ignore reality and live in their own world. They'll call me delusional for being trans and ignoring biological reality and like, dipshit, I know that I'm born male. That's the whole point of a transition. You can't change your chromosomes. You can't check mine. Like, you'd have to do a blood test and shit. And most people don't even know their own fucking hormones. So that is not an argument to me. What is an argument is, let's see. We have no use for gender roles these days, so it really doesn't matter whether or not somebody transitions or not. The thing that matters is, does this increase the joy in their life? If it brings more joy, I say go for it. As long as it's not causing harm to others or whatnot, live your life. I don't give a shit. Why would I give a shit what somebody does with their genitals if I don't know them and I'm not about to sleep with them? The only reason I care about people's genitals when I'm about to sleep with them is so I know what I'm going to do. On the other hand, I'm the type of person that also likes a surprise, so I'm also the type of person that's not going to hide it from people either. Like, people know I got a dick. I let them know beforehand. It's not a big deal. Well, I mean, it is to some people, but that's because they're Nazis and my dick's bigger and they're insecure about that. Hey, you made it to the end of the video. I bet you're already a subscriber, huh? And I bet you already hit that like button, so I don't need to remind you. However, I am still going to thank all my beeps that support the channel through the membership. Thank y'all. You deserve that little kiss next to your name. If you're not subscribed, you really should. You get more stream segments like this, and I have video essays in the future.